Oh, hello there. I didn't see you. But welcome. Come in. Come join us. It's another exciting episode of the Wrestling Exchange, just shy of 1 year going strong, episode 47. My name, of course, is Ted. I'm rocking the Kermit. Sesame Street represent. I'm also an Ultimate Warrior. I am here, of course, broadcasting from my palatial estate in Blythe, in parts unknown, but I have my co-host. He is broadcasting from the Isle of Samoa. Oh, excuse me. No, he's not from the Isle of Samoa this week. Ladies and gentlemen, he's broadcasting from Suplex City. Give it up for my man, Popo.
Welcome back, everybody. Broadcasting you live from Suplex City, bitch.
Hey, whoa. Easy, guy. That's a little hostile.
I just love how it rings together. Good job, Lesnar. Good job.
That's my
You see
boy.
me rocking the Undertaker shirt.
Fuck yeah.
We're in full effect tonight.
We definitely are. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, just a disclaimer, okay? This is a wrestling podcast, webcast, talk show thing. I wish the sun wasn't beating down through this window. It wasn't 10 seconds ago. I'm sorry. Bear with it. Please, do me the honors. Just hang in there with me. Anyway, it's a passionate conversation with two lifelong wrestling fans. We talk about wrestling, specifically WWE, and more importantly, Raw. We talk about the beginning of the show, the end of the show, so we cover the whole thing. So that way, if you didn't see Raw, we got you covered. Maybe you don't watch wrestling as much as you used to. Maybe you want to know what's going on so you can join the water cooler talk in the office. Hey, we got you covered. Join us. Now, being that it's a passionate wrestling discussion between two fans, bad language, 4-letter words. Whether you like it or you don't, that's the thing that happens here. So you better get used to it, because if you're not down with that, my man's got 2 words for you.
Cunning linguist.
Nice. So, listen, we're going to talk about Raw from London. We're going to talk about the lineup for Extreme Rules, Bray Wyatt's next opponent, and the Extreme Decision. So, one last thing, though. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. If you like what we're doing here, give us a like. Click that thumbs up button. I say it all the time. Don't be that guy. Don't be the guy that watches videos on YouTube and doesn't like. While you're at it, subscribe. You'll get an email. You'll know when a new video comes out. It's a win-win. And, of course, share. Share with your friends. Share it with your friends on the Google+, on the Twitter, on the Facebooks, on the whatever the kids are doing nowadays. Hey, share it on Grindr, right? That's a thing, right?
What the fuck is Grindr?
I don't know. All the young kids are talking about it. Fuck it. Share it on Grindr, whatever the hell that is. Also,
Damn millennials.
damn millennials. Send us your emails, right? If you got a topic that you want us to discuss, go ahead and send it. I did the honors and the work for you. Don't be lazy. See that description box down below? It's right there. That's the email address. And unfortunately, if you're watching on a mobile device, I don't think you're going to see it, but I got you covered because it's tedandpapo@gmail.com. Send us your questions. We'll answer them like a boss. Papo. We also got to talk about the Patreon page. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in being a sponsor, if you want to make a donation, if you want to help us out for our various needs and likes, if you want to do that, you want to have a notch on your belt that says I'm the type of guy that gives to something I like, you can do that at patreon.com/tedandpapo. And again, I did all the work for you. It's in the description box. Don't complain. Don't be fucking lazy. Click it, send it, and set it, and done. Papo, I think that's it for the plugs. Can we get to Raw or what?
Let's go ahead and get this ball rolling.
Rolling this ball. So, Raw, April 13th, 2015, comes to us live from London in the UK. It's actually at the O2 Arena. Now, apparently Michael Cole has returned to the commentary team after being murdered by Brock Lesnar. Papo, did you know that being murdered by Brock Lesnar only has a 2-week recovery time?
Wow, that's awesome. And he didn't even go to jail.
He did not. Well, I hear Michael Cole is pressing charges. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, that'll fly like a pig.
So, I love pigs. So let's talk about Michael Cole for a second. He's a war correspondent, and he's a former journalist, right?
Correct.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Michael Cole is probably the shittiest journalist in the world, and here's why. Throughout the night, throughout this particular broadcast of Raw, they're showing clips of downtown London, right? You see London Bridge, and then you see what's known as the Queen's Tower. But Michael Cole consistently refers to this as Big Ben, and I want to point something out here. Big Ben is not the fucking clock, okay? Big Ben is the giant motherfucking bell that hangs out there. So, you're welcome. 2 points for the viewers. You learned something new. That's why this. Look at all these books here. This is why we're helping you out. We're smart. We're SMRT. We did some book learning, and you'll learn a thing or two by watching the broadcast. Now, that being said, that all out of the way, show opens up with John Cena's U.S. Open Challenge promo, and he does this typical John Cena promo where basically he
Apple go!
So he basically acknowledges the people that cheer him, the people that boo him. And he says something interesting here because he says that he's already got some heat from saying this before, but he still feels that London deserves WrestleMania, which the crowd goes, as Pat Patterson would say, banana. Papo, I got to ask you, how would you feel about WrestleMania in the UK, specifically in London? Or anywhere in the UK, rather?
That's okay because I only spend $9.99 for my pay-per-views.
Oh, shit, cheap plug. But you'd be okay with it, right? Didn't we get SummerSlam 91 or 92 from Wembley Stadium, right?
Right.
Didn't
I'm all down for that.
Yeah, man. I'd be cool. Plus, I mean, a large portion of that crowd are international European fans anyway. So if you're, already kind of in Europe, it kind of makes sense. Now, so he also goes on to say that Rusev is waiting for Extreme Rules, and he suggests, why wait for Extreme Rules? Let's get this fucking shit done now. And then, of course, we get bad news. Barrett comes to the ring, and he answers the challenge. Papo, I don't know about you. Bad News Barrett makes sense to answer the challenge. I'm surprised we didn't get Adrian Neville. Was that a shocker to you, or were you expecting Barrett?
Well, I kind of was expecting Barrett. I mean, he's still big enough that he's going to be a little bit more intimidating than John Cena, especially being in the UK, and that's his stomping ground right there. So, ready for somebody with an English accent to come out that mother.
Hey, man, there's enough of them. So let's talk about, hey, what about William Regal? How awesome would it have been if William Regal showed up?
Yeah, so John Cena could break a hip? No, thank you.
Excuse me, wrong hole. Story of my life. Anyway, so we get what I'd like to say is a killer match between Barrett and Cena. Papo, do you think this is safe to say that this match set the bar pretty high for the rest of the participants throughout the show?
Surprisingly, it set the bar for the rest of the show, but there was a few errors in there that I noticed, like his new back springboard stunner was off. So
yeah, it looked a little sloppy. I was okay with it because it's not like Cena has like the most crisp execution ever. Here's a problem that I had. Now I'm curious to see if you caught on this, or if you caught this. During the match, early on, the crowd is chanting like a bunch of fucking banshees. And it's super fun, except that Michael Cole keeps talking over the crowd. Did you find this annoying, or is that just me?
No, I found it annoying also.
All right, so did you notice, of course, Barrett, a little bit of gimmick infringement here. He did the old Mick Foley bang bang and followed up with a Cactus Jack elbow from the apron to the floor. What are your thoughts on this?
Hey, homage to the great hardcore legend.
Yeah, I guess shades of Mrs. Foley's baby boy. I'm okay with that. Now, we go into the finishing sequence here. Cena kicks out of a wasteland. Then Cena ducks the bullhammer elbow, and Barrett kicks out of an attitude adjustment. Of course, followed a few moments later, Cena kicks out of the bullhammer elbow. And then so basically they both kicked out of each other's finishers. Then Cena ducks another bullhammer elbow, and as you said, hits that kind of sloppy springboard stunner. I didn't mind it. It kind of fits. I don't want to say the motif, but it kind of fits Cena, right? Because it's not like it's not. I mean, like take for example, look at John Cena's Fisherman Suplex, right? It is a pretty jacked up fisherman suplex, but it works, right? So I'm not against it, and it might have been a weird camera angle, I don't know, but I really dug it. I'm loving this move added to his arsenal. In the end, though, John Cena does win with the attitude adjustment. Now, at the end of the match, or excuse me, after the match, Lana comes out on stage and she begins to cut a promo on John Cena, talking about. Well, she didn't really talk about much because John Cena has his attention pointed or directed straight to her, and then he's attacked by Rusev, who looks like he jumped out of the crowd or out from under the ring, excuse me, with a chain wrapped around his fist. And Lana now tells Cena that their match at Extreme Rules will be a Russian chain match. So a couple of thoughts here, Papo. I'm curious to hear your opinions. I know there have been Russian chain matches before back in the NWA, I believe. I've never seen one. So I'm assuming that this is either is this a strap match using a chain, or is this a dog collar match?
I say it was a strap using a chain. I don't see a dog collar anywhere in this vicinity, but I picture this as them being chained together, hand to hand, and they just can use that chain. Nobody can run.
Follow-up question then. A chain. Is the use of a chain, because I mean it's going to be the gratuitous use of a chain, because most people will refer to Extreme Rules 2 years ago. Excuse me, but John Cena just used that once, right? Like he picked it up, hit Lesnar with it, then he won. With an actual chain match, is that too edgy for a PG environment?
No, I don't think so. As long as they don't use it in R-rated fashion.
So, we got something good. Let's transition into something not so good, shall we? The Divas Battle Royal. Now, during the Battle Royal, Nikki and Brie Bella have joined the commentary team. And I got to say, I do like Brie and Nikki, and I've liked them before on commentary. Papo, I want to hear your opinion, but me personally, I thought the Bella Twins on commentary were just fucking awful this time. It's like Michael Cole wasn't able to rein them in, and everybody was just talking over everyone, and it didn't come across well.
No, not at all.
So let's dive right in and talk about this Divas Battle Royal, right? So you got Natalya, Alicia Fox, Eva Mendes, Summer Rae, Cameron, Naomi, and Emma. All of them are in the ring. It's basically we come back from a commercial break and they're in the ring, and then Paige, everybody else gets the jobber entrance except for Paige. Paige comes out and the crowd goes fucking banana. I believe she's from, I want to say Norwich, England, which I'm assuming is only a few hours away. But Paige was over like Rover. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, safe to say.
Safe to say. So here's a couple of things I wanted to add. Did you notice how Paige is rocking this kind of, it's not new ring gear per se, like it's not completely different from what she's rocking before, but the strap from the booby holster, I don't know what that's called, this thing right here, to the shoulders, it's kind of reminiscent of like a pentagram. Did you notice that, or is that just me?
I noticed it.
Kind of cool looking, right?
On her, yeah.
So here's the problem that I have, right? It gets down to Paige and Naomi, right? My problem is that while these eliminations are happening, it's a battle royal, right? Papo, refresh my memory. Eliminations in a battle royal, you have to go over the top rope and both feet must touch the floor, yes?
For a traditional battle royal, yes. But this is a Divas Battle Royal. And with the Divas Battle Royal, if they get knocked off the apron, then they're eliminated. All they got to do is be knocked off the apron.
So they don't have to go over the top rope, just knocked off the apron.
Exactly.
So then here's my follow-up question. It's not like I lay awake at night watching Divas Battle Royals. it's kind of a shocker to me, and maybe we've talked about this before. I don't fucking like it because I don't remember Michael Cole at any point telling us that the rules are different for a Divas Battle Royal. Do you?
No.
So
He did
then
not
we're
mention that at all.
right. So it just for someone who knows what a Battle Royal, which is practically fucking everybody watching, it's kind of confusing, and it would have been nice for Cole to say or JBL to say that a Divas Battle Royal is a little bit different. Look, me personally, I don't like it. Right? Hashtag give Divas a chance. Hashtag equal opportunity. I don't like that the rules are separate. Do not like it at all. It's not like the Divas are that much shorter, and you can still throw bitches over the top rope. I do it all the time at home. I throw my wife over the top rope all the goddamn time. So now it ends up being that it's down to Paige and Naomi, and let's see here. What are you picturing me throwing my wife over the top rope?
Yes, I am. That is fucking hilarious.
So let's see. Oh yes, Paige wins. And then after the match, Byron Saxton interviews Paige, and she's in the ring and she's talking about her victory and how important it is, and how just recently she had her first victory at WrestleMania. And she starts addressing Nikki Bella, right, who's currently the Divas champion. And then, boom, Naomi comes out, blindsides Paige, and proceeds to beat the fucking bejesus out of her. Papo, did you see this one coming?
No, I did not. Not at all. It was surprised to me to see her, Naomi. I mean, that's like totally out of her character. I mean, she's usually the happy-go-lucky type, one of the Funkadactyls. But to see her, I mean, with that, I mean, that's just like a complete heel turn.
Hey,
out
man.
of nowhere.
Funk is on a roll. Funk is on a roll. Funk is on a roll. Hey, hey, hey. Somebody better call my mama. I love it. I love it. So we're just going to jump right into the next thing here because we're going to keep it moving. We're trying to get these episodes a little shorter each and every week so it's easier for you to ignore your friends and family and watch our beautiful bearded faces. So let's talk about this Bray Wyatt pre-tape promo. Last week it was kind of a, I don't want to say like a refresh, but it was kind of a rehash of what he was saying before. Behold, I'm the new face of fear. This week he talks about fear being stronger than love. And it's kind of cryptic as to who he's talking about. And I guess we can assume that this is to lead up to his next opponent. Is it safe to say that this is leading into a program specifically at Extreme Rules?
I would like to say so, but who the fuck is he talking to?
Well, it just so happens that you're talking to a man with a plan. I got a list of names. So here, we're going to play the name game. But guess who? Okay. Fun fact, did you know that if you remember that game Guess Who, right, with the flaps and all the pictures on them?
Yes.
There's only 2 black people in Guess Who. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Dude, look at any Guess Who board, and if you're like, is your character black? And they're like, yes. Oh, well, is it Tyrone or Jasmine? There's like 2 people. It's crazy. So I'm gonna throw out some. I'm gonna throw out some names here. After each name, let me know if you think they're a viable candidate for Wyatt's opponent at Extreme Rules, okay?
Okay.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you can play this game at home. In fact, see that thing down below here? That's called the comment box. Tell us who you think Bray Wyatt's going to face at Extreme Rules. So here we go. Ryback.
Negator.
Ziggler.
Possibly.
Eric Rowan.
Possibly.
Daniel Bryan.
Very possibly.
The Bizarre One Gold Dust.
Negator.
Bo Dallas.
Possibly.
Curtis Axel.
Negator.
Rob Van Dam. The whole fucking show. Mr. Monday Night.
Oh, that would rock so badass, but Negator.
Neville.
Possibly.
Zack Ryder.
Negator.
Mark Henry.
Very possibly. Sexual Chocolate.
Fandango.
Negator.
All right. Kane.
Negator.
Bonus round. I got 2 more for you. Ready? Sting,
Possibly.
Hulk Hogan.
Ooh. That would be money.
Last one. Macho Man, played by Lanny Poffo.
Dude, you are hurting my feelings right now.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, tell us who you think will face Bray Wyatt at Extreme Rules and who he's talking about. Or tell us how awesome you think our t-shirts are. And ask us where we got them. Spoiler alert, I got mine at WWEshop.com. So, that being said, we're going to roll right into the next match here in the interest of time. Lucha Dragons versus the Ascension. Sin Cara picks up the win with a swanton. One thing that does bother me here, because the match was good, but I really don't. It was just a standard tag team match. Really just there to make Kalisto look good. But Michael Cole referred to the swanton as a senton. Does this bother you?
Yes, it does.
Good. I'm not alone. This is followed up by an in-ring interview by Booker, administered by or mediated by Booker T, with Roman Reigns. Believe that, Roman Reigns comes out and says he is mentally strong after taking an extensive tour of Suplex City.
Bitch.
Hey, fuck you. What's that about? I thought we were friends.
It just rings. Suplex City, bitch.
Biatch.
It just goes.
So he said he didn't lie. He wasn't being dishonest. He did everything he said he was going to do, except he can't and he didn't. He said that he. That's a new T-shirt. That's a new T-shirt for Brock Lesnar. He can't and he didn't.
Rinse, repeat.
Right? So he said he did give Brock Lesnar a fight, which is true. He said he made Brock taste his own blood, which is true. But he basically goes on to say that he was robbed of his victory by that dirty bastard Seth Rollins, capitalizing on the moment. Question. Is it just me, or are we seeing shades of Edge, the ultimate opportunist, in how they're positioning Seth Rollins currently?
Yeah, shades of Edge. That's what we call it now. Shades of Edge.
Then all we need now is for Seth Rollins to make out with Vicky Guerrero.
Ew.
Excuse me. He promises...
You go, 50 Shades of Edge.
You think you know me. You think you know me. So he promises to become WWE World Heavyweight Champion by beating Seth Rollins. Roman, I hate to break it to you, but you're like 0-4 on promises. You're almost as bad as John Cena. So Roman says that Big Show's basically there we go. Big Show's basically a giant bitch. And let's see. Oh, he's Seth's giant bitch. Excuse me. At this point, Big Show shows up on the Jumbotron, and he reminds us that Roman Reigns failed, that he's a bum and a loser. I don't know about you, but the use of the word bum always takes me back to the Rocky movies, where Mickey's like, "You're a bum, Rock," right?
Yeah, but Mickey, I gotta step in on this one though. But Mickey said one of the greatest lines in all of movie history that stuck with me forever. Get up, you son of a bitch, because Mickey loves you.
or Rocky 3, where he faces Hulk Hogan, and Rocky looks at Hulk Hogan, and he looks at Mick, and he goes, "How much do you think that guy eats?" And Mick's like, "About 202 pounds." And then the ring announcer's like, "And weighing 202 pounds, Rocky Balboa." I love it. I can't get enough of the Rocky movies. Rocky 5 just didn't happen. No Tommy Gunn fighting in the streets of Philadelphia. That was just awful. But speaking of awful, Big Show is told by Roman tells Big Show that he's awful, that he's a giant pussy, by addressing him from the Tron, and that if he had any real cojones, if you will, he'd face him in the ring. If you will. So Roman says that he will retire the Big Show. Yes, please. Tommy Likey. I would love to see Big Show get retired. But then, of course, Roman Reigns, he does the... here's the weird thing, right? Roman Reigns goes up the ramp when he leaves. But when he enters the ring, he goes down through the crowd. So when he goes up the ramp to the back area, he's... Excuse me, I'm like all sorts of gassy today. He's immediately attacked by Big Show, who basically kicks the shit out of him, throws him into that taxi at the top of the ramp a couple of times, and then chokeslams him on top of the taxi, and then leaves. Question. Do you think Roman Reigns should have just left through the crowd?
Yes and no. But even when he comes to the ring through the crowd, he always leaves by going up the ramp.
Doesn't make any sense, right?
No, it don't.
Go back the way you came. That's what my mama said. So, what do we think about Big Show kicking the shit out of Roman Reigns? Does it work in garnering or helping to garner sympathy for Reigns, or is this just snooze fest city?
Snooze fest city, dude. I am so tired of these two. Oh, man.
Speaking of things... Oh, I'm sorry,
It's
go
like
ahead.
having the same dinner over and over again for like the last 6 months.
Well, speaking of seeing the same thing over and over again, we don't see that in the next segment. We get to see something new and different, and that's Randy Orton versus Cesaro. Cesaro, of course, accompanied by his tag team partner champion, Tyson Kidd, and, of course, his esposa, Natalya. So, basically, it's announced, and I don't know who says it. I believe it's Michael Cole.
Just sexy Samoan.
Oh, dude, I'm Rosetta Stone, like a motherfucker. It's mentioned that the stipulation is whoever wins their match, either Orton or Rollins, they will be able to name the stipulation for Extreme Rules. Now, here's what's hilarious. I think JBL went off script because he said, well, Michael, what if both people win? Which to me is like the smartest thing JBL has said in years. And Michael Cole tells him not to put the cart before the horse. I gotta be honest, do you think JBL just fucked up and screwed up the outcome?
No, not really, because, I mean, if people that are listening to commentary, they're going to think the same thing. So he just said what the crowd was thinking.
So, Randy Orton wins pretty quickly. It really wasn't that long of a match because Tyson Kidd interfered, and he wins via disqualification. However, the Big Red Machine comes out and says, no, está no bueno. We're not going to have this shit. Restart the match as a handicap 2-on-1 tag match. Now, here's where I have a problem. Actually, no, this is not where I had a problem because they had a good match. Papo, is that fair to say that the tag champions and Orton put on a decent match for the short time that they had? Maybe 6 to 7 minutes, give or take?
It was a decent match, definitely. I mean, this was a build-up to a main event match. That's the caliber that it had.
So the match ends when Orton wins by RKO. He RKOs Tyson Kidd. So here's my problem. Cesaro and Tyson Kidd are the tag team champions, correct?
Correct.
Which by extension essentially means that they are the best tag team around, correct?
Correct.
So then please explain to me how one man, as great as he is, can beat the best tag team there is around. Doesn't make any fucking sense to me. It smells like Vince Russo. It smells like bad booking. Papo, let me get your thoughts. Let the people know how you feel about this.
All right, so we have Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, the tag team champions. Then we have Randy Orton, who doesn't have any gold just to shit on. So how are the tag team champions holding the gold beaten by somebody who doesn't own gold at all? It just like shits on the tag team titles.
Yeah, I mean, and let's think about it this way, right? Let's think about it for a second, but with good wrestling psychology, okay? Which means that we'll think about it as if this were real. If this were a real fight, one guy almost always loses to two guys, right?
Almost always.
And Cesaro and Kidd, no fucking slouch, right? Yes, Randy Orton's a third-generation wrestler, but Cesaro, he's the goddamn Swiss Superman. He's the king of swing. He's pound for pound, easily one of the strongest men on the roster. Top that off with Tyson Kidd, who is the last person to be trained by the Hart family dungeon. I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. That would be like saying that Owen Hart and the British Bulldog lose to Aldo Montoya. Oh no, Aldo Montoya is not a good example. Let's see, who's a good person we can put in there time-wise that fits Bulldog and Owen.
Bulldog and Owen. It's like Shawn Michaels beating them.
Right. One guy beating a team never works to me. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It just makes the tag team division look bad. Because if one guy can beat the champions, then the tag team can't be that good, in theory, right? It doesn't make any fucking sense. But listen, I don't want to have a brain aneurysm. I'd like to keep on living. So let's just roll right into the next segment, which occurs backstage. Agreed?
Let's keep this ball rolling.
So it's Kane, Rollins, and J&J Security, and they're watching the finish of the match on a TV monitor backstage. Apparently there's TV monitors fucking everywhere backstage. So Kane suggests that Rollins should win so he and Orton can both pick the stipulation at Extreme Rules. Rollins, no likey. Rollins suggests that he will not face Ziggler because, it should be an easy win for him. So he'll face Noble because Jamie will do what's business and lay down for him. Kind of referring to the finger poke of doom. And remember that because this is going to get mentioned a few times. Noble kind of goes, well, Seth, why should I lay down? That's my best Jamie Noble impression. And when he says, in all reality, it should be Kane, right? Because Kane made the silly stipulation in the first place. Let him do it. And then Kane threatens Noble by saying, I have another idea that involves a car battery and your testicles. I'm not the world's biggest Kane fan, but I gotta say, I popped for that. And not for nothing, I'd kind of like to see it.
I'm in agreement with that. That shit was funny.
So Rollins actually takes Noble's side here and asks Kane if he's actually afraid of Dolph Ziggler. Kane gets offended, and then Rollins says he needs to face someone who he can beat with his eyes closed. Essentially suggesting that Kane should be the one to lay down, and then Kane just gets all pissed off and walks off. Now, we roll on over to the next segment, which is a match. It's Adam Rose, of course accompanied by the Exotic Express, versus Dean Ambrose. Apparently, to hell with continuity, because what happened to the goddamn bunny? He was here today, gone tomorrow. Terrible jokes. I got puns for days. It's a quick squash match, right? Ambrose goes over. Now, I have a quick question here, because I don't want to spend too much on this because we still have the rest of the show to talk about. I get that Ambrose picks up a much-needed win, right? Because he's been on a losing streak. But is it just me, or are we being told subconsciously that Ambrose can only beat jobbers?
That's a good question. Yes.
All right, good. Glad we're on the same page. So he defeats Rose with a Dirty Deeds double arm DDT, and then we get another backstage. This might have been Kane. This should have been called Kane is Raw, because we get another backstage segment with Kane, and this time Kane is confronted by Big Show, and Big Show talks about doing what is best for business, and that it's job security, it's the right thing, blah 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 blah, and then Kane says he will face Rollins, and then he will do what is best for business. Now, we transition into another match. It's Fandango versus the Cosmic One, Stardust, not to be confused with Cody Rhodes, because apparently Cody Rhodes grew a beard, got fat, and now lives in Alaska. So I gotta know, What did you think about Stardust versus Fandango, as short as it was?
It was actually quite dynamic, a pretty good match. I didn't see any guest spots, but uh, your girl at the end, I think we're
Oh,
gonna want to touch on that.
we're going to want to touch on that. Now, we talked about this before, right? And how Stardust had an entirely separate moveset from Cody because they're not the same guy. Again, Cody's fat with a beard in Alaska. Um, but Stardust is using more and more of Cody Rhodes' move, and we even get a version of the disaster kick, except this time it's from the top rope. What'd you think about that?
That was remnants of Cody.
But just to be clear, Stardust is not Cody. Totally different dudes.
Yeah, Cody's in Alaska.
Yeah, he's
Fat and
fat.
bearded.
Fat and bearded.
Like my co-host.
Whoa, hey, I'm in parts unknown, okay? Parts unknown.
No, I didn't say you were in Alaska.
Oh, you
I didn't say
motherfucker.
nothing about Alaska.
You motherfucker. All you Samoans are the same, okay? You people. So so after the match, Fandango cuts a promo, and I'm waiting for him to say Fandango, but he doesn't, right? He says, and this is a quote, "I finally realized what the problem is," and then he looks at Eva Mendes. By the way, she's awful. And he says, "I've been sharing my gift of dance with you." And then he says, "when I should be sharing it with the entire world. Maestro, please." And then we get the old Fandango music, and we all get the... It's awesome. So Fandango's doing the... Fandango is Fandango Wing. It's a noun and a verb. On the commentary table, and the whole crowd joins him. So a couple of quick questions, and then we'll move on. Number one, do you like that he's kicking Eva Mendes to the curve?
Yes and no. I mean, the girl needs a job. So.
Wait, is it Eva Mendes or Rosa Mendes?
One of those.
One of those Mendes. She might be Samoan, and they all look the same. So, second question, are you glad that he's dropping the stupid kind of flamenco Fandango? We're getting the old Fandango?
Yeah, that'd be better. And everybody's familiar with the old Fandangos, and everybody took to it like a frog to water.
It was awesome, right? I mean, what's the expression? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it.
Yeah, so there was no need to repackage Fandango because the poor guy's been repackaged over and over again. I'm glad we're reverting back, and I don't see it as a step backward. I see it as a very welcome and much needed improvement. So, hey, speaking of Kane is Raw, we get another backstage segment with Kane. You ready for this?
Ready?
So Kane is confronted again by Daniel Bryan. Excuse me, he's confronted again, this time by Daniel Bryan. So the Intercontinental Champion asks him, what happened to you? What's best for business if, let's see, what's best for business basically is not emulating what helped put WCW out of business. Again, we're kind of invoking that finger poke of doom. And he says, the Kane I know would tombstone Seth on the steel steps and damn near end his career. If you have any ounce of pride, when you go out there, don't be a stooge. Be a man. Oh, or be a star. Don't be a stooge, be a star. What do you say to this?
It was definitely an inspirational segment. Don't be a doobie.
Hey, don't be a lemon, be a rose, bud. Right? Something? I don't know. Be a something.
Don't be a lemon, be a jabroni.
We need Dr. Shelby back bad. So now we actually get Seth Rollins versus Kane. So Papa, what I want to do is I just want to walk the people through the events of the match. It was a short match, if you want to even call it that, but I really dug the drama. So do you mind if I just take a few moments and break it down for the peoples?
Break it down!
All right, so Kane comes out, suit, tie, jacket, the whole shebang bang, right? Takes off the suit jacket, takes off the tie, unbuttons his shirt, And I'm thinking we're going to get 50 Shades of Kane here. It's going to be really, really awkward. Katie Vick 2.0. So, he gets right up in Rollins' face, and Rollins really plays the chicken shit very well because he gets in Rollins' face, and Rollins does that thing where he kind of looks off to the side, doesn't want to look him in the eyes because he's clearly intimidated by him. But then he kind of gets his balls in order, and then he starts to tell Kane to lay down for him and do what is best for business. Of course, Kane slowly he drops to one knee, and then he reluctantly lays down to allow Seth to pin him. Seth, who just enjoys humiliating Kane at this point, slowly gets down to cover and pin Kane, and we get the 1, and at 2, and then at 2.5, Kane kicks out. So, did you see this coming?
No, I didn't see it coming, but I want it to happen.
So at the moment it happens, the UK crowd goes banana. And I fucking loved it, right? It's because it was slowly building. The crowd was like, no, 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 doing the Daniel Bryan. And then after this happens, Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury rush the ring, and they're like pointing their fingers in Kane's face, and they're like, what the fuck is your problem, bro? You're supposed to do what's best for business. You're supposed to protect Edge. I mean Rollins, the champion.
Yeah.
Right? So then Kane basically throws the two of these jabronis out of the ring. And I say jabroni with all love and respect. I loves me some Noble and Mercury. And then Rollins, Kane slaps the shit out of Rollins in the face, and Rollins does the old Ric Flair chicken shit where he drops to his knees and puts his hands up, and he's like, no, don't choke slam me, no, don't hurt me, I'm a coward. And then Kane goes down to one knee, again, slowly building that suspense and drama, and then Seth gets a little ballsy, and he's like, fucking lay down, Kane, and he's yelling at him, kind of like when I tell my dog to lay down. Kane finally decides he's not going to take this shit anymore, and he chokeslams Rollins. And then there's this immediate, I want to say, crisis of conscience, right, where he's torn. Do I pin Rollins and screw him over, or do I do what's best for business? Ultimately, though, he does what's best for business. He lays down, and he takes the arm of Seth Rollins, lays it across himself for the 1, the 2, and the 3. I liked it. And I liked that it was teasing this full-blown face turn. It's kind of like when two guys, like right before a pay-per-view, one guy comes down to the ring and the other guy's talking shit, and the one guy goes to get in the ring to tease like they're going to fight, but then does the quintessential heel move and just backs off and is like, no, fuck you, we're going to do this later. I really enjoyed every little bit of this. I would say, as far as segments go and not actual matches, this was probably my favorite. And that's crazy talk considering I'm mentioning the Big Red Machine. Papo, quickly, your thoughts on this whole scenario?
Yeah, this was quintessentially man drama. I mean, Kane showed face that he is superior over Seth Rollins, but then yet still laid down for him. Dude, we got cheated out of a good match.
I'm okay with it. I felt like it so long as it was I don't want to say enhancing the story, but so long as it was helping the story move to where it needs to go, I'm okay with that. Now, speaking of advancing a story, we got Miz versus Mizdow, and Damien Mizdow comes out with apparently Miz's co-star from the Marine 4, A1 Summer Rae. Quick question. Have you seen any of the Marine movies?
I saw the very first one.
Was it any good?
That was it. It was actually pretty good.
Was that the John? Oh, was that the one where the guy from Terminator 2 kidnaps his wife?
Yes.
I think I saw that. I think I saw that.
It sounds like you did.
Well, you know what? I think I got it from like Blockbuster. This is how long ago that was when Blockbuster was still a thing, and I think like the disc was scratched or whatever. So I don't really remember much aside from a gas station blowing up. Mizdow wins with a roll-up. Last week we talked about this and kind of how it's kind of frustrating because this is easily a I don't want to say tantalizing feud, but it's a feud that has drawn us in. It's something we're interested in seeing. But it ends up their first match ends up on a Raw, and now their second match is on the Raw. So we've had the first match, and I guess this would be the rubber match, right? Because Miz won the last one, right?
Right.
So based on WWE's track record here, is the blow-off next week on Raw, and it's the last time these guys wrestle?
I don't think so. I think they're going to have like another beef, and then they're probably going to try to squash this feud at Extreme Rules.
I'm gonna make a bold statement here.
Oh, why am I not surprised?
I'm gonna say Miz versus Mizdow is the Extreme Rules pre-show. Just saying, I'm making that bet. Do you?
Wow, that's poo-poo on that.
Oh, but I just can't shake the feeling. So Miz won last week, I believe, with the skull-crushing finale. This week, Mizdow wins with a roll-up. Should Mizdow have won with an actual finishing move, or is him using a roll-up acceptable in this particular scenario?
He gets Mizdow the quick win, but I mean, it could have been cool if he did the skull-crushing finale on Mizdow himself,
Or
on Miz himself.
here's another one. Or if he beat Mizdow with if he beat Miz with a figure four, because Mizdow did win. I can't remember which match it was or what pay-per-view, but he did beat somebody with a figure four, which is like the first time in 30 years. And that is Miz's move, so I don't know. I think it would be interesting. Let's talk about something a tad more interesting, shall we?
Let's.
I'm talking about hashtag millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. One of my favorite tag teams, and I say this because I don't think they're that great separate, and, not really that great apart, but together they're a really, really cool combination. And that's the Primetime Players. And we get a little bit of a pre-taped promo where they basically shit all over the Matadors. Papo, walk us through it. What are your thoughts?
Who ever heard of a Puerto Rican matador?
Hey, you know what? I take offense to that because someone needs to tell the Primetime Players that those Matadors are Samoan.
Yeah, you stupid.
Right? Sorpresa, I've heard that bullfighting is very popular on the Isle of Samoa. That's what I've heard. I don't know. Ask the Tonga Kid. It's a thing, right?
You're a dick.
I don't want the Tonga Kid coming after me. But I gotta say, I really like the Primetime Players coming out and poo-pooing on the entire tag division. But is it problematic that they're doing this but not actually having matches?
Hey, you gotta start a fight somewhere.
Here's another prediction. Extreme Rules, we're gonna get a tag team three-way. Matadors, the Ascension. Oh wait, who else did they knock on last week? They knocked on the Ascension and another team. Oh, New Day. So it's going to be a tag team fatal four-way. Here's a prediction, ladies and gentlemen. Write this down because I'll bet my bottom dollar, which I don't have because I'm negative, but whatever. I'll go on record to say that you watch Extreme Rules. Maybe this will be the Extreme Rules pre-show. You're going to get a fatal four-way tag team match to determine the new number one contenders: Primetime Players, Matadors, New Day, and Ascension. And I will say Primetime Players win. And I don't know, maybe we get a feud between the Primetime Players and Lucha Dragons. What say you?
I'm totally with it. That'd be awesome.
Speaking of things that are awesome, let's talk about Ryback versus Luke Harper. This is the second week in a row that these two have gone at it. And what was awesome was that these guys had a kick-ass match last week. Unfortunately, I don't think this match went more than 2 minutes.
No, I wasn't counting.
So basically what happens is that Ryback wins by disqualification when Harper removes the top of the commentary table and hits him with it. Now, I don't think that should count because that looks like flimsy-ass plastic. Agreed?
I agree, but a weapon's a weapon, and blah.
Blah. So after the match, Dean Ambrose runs out and immediately attacks Harper. And this is kind of a nod to what happened at the recent pay-per-view, which was WrestleMania, where was it Harper that put?
Wow.
Hey man, I watch 3 hours of Raw each week. My brain gets smaller and smaller. But I have all these books here, so that doesn't happen too bad. It's brain atrophy. So, what do you think about the nod to Harper putting Ambrose through that table at WrestleMania? That's what this is, right?
Revenge.
He needs some revenging. Somebody called the Dread Pirate Roberts. Harper then runs away through the crowd. Excuse me. That was wrong because Inigo Montoya leaves the revenge business for the Dread Pirate Roberts. I watched Princess Bride again recently. Totally off topic. One of the best movies ever made. I'm just saying. And if you don't like Princess Bride, fuck you. That's all I have to say about that. Is there anything else you want to add to this Ryback versus Harper match, or can we keep this ball rolling and talk about the next segment?
All right, so let's keep this ball rolling.
So this is followed by another interview, except this one's done backstage, and it's with Byron Saxton. Papa, what are your thoughts on Byron Saxton? You like him? You hate him? How do we feel?
I'm still growing on my own opinion. Kind of reminds me of a young Bryant Gumbel.
Can we get Jonathan Coachman back? I feel like we desperately need the coach back.
See, with Coachman, it was give and take. Sometimes he had his good days and sometimes he had his bad days. But after watching The Rock kick him in his ass...
Didn't he make him dance first?
I was like, no, I'm done with him.
Right. So Byron Saxton, he's interviewing Naomi, and he's basically asking her why she attacked Paige. And at first, Naomi shows a little bit of remorse, right? Thankfully, she's not a complete sociopath. And she says that she's sorry for losing her cool, but then she laughs it off, and she says, "You fucking kidding me?" She calls Byron Saxton an idiot and says something it's very meta. What's going on here, and this is what I really wanted to talk about, because you and I have mentioned this before, so I'm going to tell the good people what she said, and we're going to talk about it, because it's right out of one of our conversations on the show. She says that she's beaten Nikki, who's the Divas champion, twice, so why should she have to compete in the Battle Royal for the #1 contender spot? I think that's a very astute and fair observation. Your thoughts?
I am in total agreement.
Now, after that, she then asks if wins and losses mean anything in WWE. Whoa! Shots fired. And I can't disagree with her, because it seems like fucking wins and losses don't matter. Is that fair? I mean, is she shooting from the hip? What's going on here?
I'm not sure, but I mean, she's definitely, during this interview, she's definitely passionate about the wins and losses. Kicking WWE right in the nuts.
Right in the nuts. Now, she says that people have taken her kindness for weakness for far too long, and she's not asking for a spot. She's taking one. So I want to spend a few more moments on this and talk about this, because I really felt that this was one of the more interesting things. So, first question. Heel Naomi. Very entertaining. Do we prefer this to face Naomi?
Yes. She's keeping it real.
Keeping it real. So again, we're gonna back to this wins and losses thing. Here's my take on it, and I want to know how you feel about it. Wins and losses don't necessarily need to matter, but they often do, right? Like someone can go on a losing streak and then come back and then just immediately get back on a winning streak, right? So it's not that wins and losses don't matter at all. They can. It just depends. In a situation like, for example, when we talk about Luke Harper versus Ryback, whoever won or lost that match was irrelevant. That win or lose for that match didn't matter. And that's something that's said all the time. I think even Jericho says that wins and losses don't matter, but he's not entirely correct, because look at Orton versus the tag champs, right? That win matters. It matters to Orton because it advances the storyline of him being able to pick the stipulation. And on top of it, that loss matters because the tag champs should not lose to one guy. So I like the fact that she brings up wins and losses don't matter. It's very meta. It's very self-aware. It's very cool. And above all, it's interesting. Papo, can we agree that anything interesting is good because it brings people in and it keeps butts in seats?
I'm in total agreement, and
So,
I'm loving this new Naomi.
speaking of loving stuff, we got to talk about the main event match because holy fucking balls, this was amazing. Now, before the match actually starts, you got to remember what happened earlier, right? Rollins was originally scheduled to face Dolph Ziggler. So Ziggler doesn't have an opponent. So what Ziggler does is he basically comes out and he says he shoots on Kane for laying down and calls him the devil's favorite dumbass. And then he, much like John Cena, issues an open challenge to anyone in the back. And it's the man that gravity forgot, Neville, that answers his challenge. And these two guys have a fucking kick-ass match. Papo, how awesome was this match? Don't get into any specifics, but just in general, how awesome was this match?
This match was fucking amazing. Perfect main event status. Dynamic on all parts. And that's all I got to say about that.
So is it safe to say that this match was, wait for it, awesome? Was it good? Can we say that?
Yeah, you can say that.
All right. So let's break the match down. Let's talk about some of the things that happened, and we can afford to do this because it is the last match. There's another segment that follows, but this was probably my favorite. Well, not probably. This was easily my favorite match of the show. So let's talk about that, right? Last week we saw John Cena take a vicious DDT from Stardust, landing right on his head. You remember that?
Yes.
Now, as brutal as that was, Neville takes a DDT that just makes that other thing look like, I don't know, not impressive. And I don't know if you've been watching him. I've been watching him for the past year and a half on NXT, and there is not anyone that takes DDTs better on a consistent basis. Every time this guy takes a DDT, every time he's completely vertical. He's straight up and down, and it just looks wicked. How nasty was that DDT?
It was disgusting. I mean, him being straight up and down is a little bit exaggerative, but it adds that element to the DDT.
Right? Because it wasn't a regular DDT. It's that Dolph Ziggler jumping DDT. So Dolph Ziggler jumps up, and he's got the momentum coming down with him, and that makes it all the more impressive looking when Neville fucking lands on his head, basically. Then, at one point, Dolph is out on the floor, right? He's outside the ring. He's laying on the mats outside the ring. And Neville rolls into the ring to allow the ref to start counting. But then he rolls out of the ring, right, to break the count because he's not going to win by countout because, he's a good guy. Good guys don't win by countouts. And then he jumps up on the barricade, walks along the top, kind of like tightrope walking, along the top to the edge of the barricade, and then he hits him with a fucking 450 splash. Now, Booker T smartly mentions that puts it in perspective because that barricade is only about 4 feet tall. So Neville didn't have much room to do that. Papo, I got to ask, how impressive was that, and how much did you pee your pants when you saw that move?
That move was purtiful. Not pretty, not beautiful, but purtiful. And let me tell you, to me, I have been known to experiment with flipping, etc., etc. But such at a low angle, that 450 was amazing and so fast and dynamic, it couldn't have been done any more perfectly.
I got to tell you, I pissed my panties. My panties were soaked when I saw that. That was incredible. In-fucking-credible. Now, what happens after this is that basically he goes for, at one point, a shooting star press, and Ziggler rolls out of the way. Ziggler then grabs Neville, throws him into the ring post, and then attacks him immediately afterwards with the zigzag for the win. Now, without talking about the aftermath, how does this match rank on the entire card with every other match we saw?
This match, number one. This was the match of Raw.
Is it safe to
Perfect.
say? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
For me, it was a perfect main event for this Raw because it just towered over everything else.
Is it safe to say that these two guys have incredible chemistry, and that we'd like to see this, like to see more of this?
Oh yeah, definitely. I would love to see a rematch between Neville and Dolph Ziggler.
Now, after the match, uh, it's a shameful thing. Too many limes, too many limes. Sheamus comes out, and oh shit, I lost my notes. Hold on. Blah 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 blah. He attacks Ziggler and then brogue kicks Neville, and then Ziggler gets up and Sheamus and Ziggler fight through the ropes into the outside. But he hits Ziggler with a brogue kick and stands defiant on top of the commentary table, leaving a path of destruction in his wake. So, a couple of quick things here. Uh, the match, it was good, right? Neville almost got the win. He came very, very close. And I don't think that losing to Ziggler hurt him, although I would like to see him pick up another win soon. But Sheamus interfering afterwards. Are we going to get Sheamus versus Ziggler? Are we going to get Sheamus versus Neville? Or is this just random destruction by the Irish Madman?
Well, I figure this is random destruction, but I would love to see a three-way match, a triple threat match between these three.
Yeah, man. It would be fucking killer. And is it weird that the Irish guy was standing tall at the end of the show while they're in England?
Yeah, that's definitely heat from the crowd. They're definitely going to put Sheamus in heel status, especially in the UK.
So after this, that was the main event match, but now we get the main event segment. The Extreme Decision. And before we get to that, one last quick plug. For now. No promises. If you like what you saw here, if you dig it, go ahead and do what's best for business. Click the like button. Click subscribe. You'll get a notification when I shouldn't have to tell you this. You should know this by now. Come on. Like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, and tell us what you thought. Tell us what you think about Sheamus attacking them last minute at the end of the match, and let us know what you think. And again, share, tell your friends, support us by going to the Patreon link. And I'm gonna take a moment here and mention this. Right now, Papa and I are trying to launch an enterprise. Okay, and to do that, we need your help. It's 2015. Okay, it's an era where if you see something you like, you contribute a little bit. I do it. When you go to the store, they ask you if you want to spend $1, donate to St. Jude's. Cool. Now, I'm not saying we operate on sick kids, because we clearly don't. In fact, here in parts unknown, we don't even have a fucking hospital. But it's a good thing to contribute to things that you like. So if you like what you see here, and if you got some extra change, and I know 2015 is a tough year, right? The economy's in the shitter. I don't care what the TV says. It's just bad economy right now. I know money is tight. But if you got a little extra, don't be a tight ass. Don't be a cheap bitch. Give us 50 cents. I'm not asking for $1. 50 cents. Go to the Patreon link. Support what you like. That's where we are right now. Now, it's like supporting a local band. Except we're not local. We're international. And, Hot Stuff International. I'm stealing Eddie Gilbert's gimmick. Now, let's roll into the main event segment, shall we? Papo, the Extreme Decision. Let's talk about what happens here. It's Seth Rollins, Jamie Noble, and Joey Mercury. They're sitting in recliners in the ring. First of all, how awesome, how much heel heat do you get for sitting in a recliner in a ring? I mean, that's clearly a heel thing, yes?
Yes, it is.
So Rollins basically, again, this is the night of 6 million Kanes. He refers to Kane. He says, you know what? Kane ultimately did what's best for business because a real man knows when to lie down. A real man knows when to put the team before himself. Hashtag best for business. Now, Orton comes out, and offers Rollins. He says, you know what? Fuck the stipulations. Fuck multiple stipulations. You and I have a match right now, and the winner gets to name the stipulation. Rollins is like, I don't think so. There's only 3 minutes left in the show. Anyway, that shit's just not happening. So Seth, he gives a stipulation, right? And his stipulation is the RKO is banned. So, Papo, what are your thoughts on banning the RKO from their match at Extreme Rules for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship?
He didn't ban the punt.
You know what? That's exactly where my mind went. It's exactly. Now, follow-up question. Does the diamond cutter count? Can he technically use the diamond cutter?
No, because it's still a version of the RKO.
You know what? I'm not sure about that. I'm going to check with the judges. Judges, can he use a diamond cutter? No.
No, he can't.
Apparently the judges are with you. Fuck you, judges. Diamond cutter precedes.
Fuck you too, you fat bearded bitch.
What? Huh? Who said that? Motherfucker, I will find you. This is parts un. There's no rules here. It's parts unknown. I will come for you. That sounded really sexual. I will come on you. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, so listen. Come in me if you want to live, okay? So Seth says the RKO is banned, and Orton's like, fine. You know what? I can live with that. Ban my RKO. That's fine. How about this one? I don't want the authority involved. Now, here's what's interesting. He says that he doesn't want the authority involved, so the stipulation he's choosing is a cage match. So, quick question. Is a cage really going to keep the authority from getting involved?
Nope.
Follow-up question. Would it have been better if he chose a Hell in a Cell match?
Okay. I'm going to one-up you right now. An Elimination Chamber.
Oh, shit. I'd be down with that. So, we decide that's what we're going to get. And one last question. You and I have talked about this before, but it's been a while. We haven't seen a cage match in a while. Can we go back to the old cage with the bars, like either the blue cage or the black cage? I'm not feeling this fence cage. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm in total agreement. I like the blue cage. I mean, the bigger bars, easier to climb up and down. You got these guys wearing with these their fingers to the fence, and that could be taxing on the hands. But the blue bars made it a lot easier, and they can climb up quicker. And it looks like they could do a lot more.
Right.
So,
I mean, you could do that spot where you put the guy's leg through the cage bars and you beat the shit out of him. I think you have more options with those cages. Plus, when you watch those cage matches with the old cage with the bars, when someone hits the cage, at any moment, that thing looks like it's going to fall apart. Right? Not so much with the new cages. Right. Not a big fan of it. I almost wish that Randy Orton was like, my stipulation is War Games match. Would have been cool, but whatever. And then basically he dumps Rollins out of his recliner because, fucking sitting in a recliner is a heel move. And then basically Orton attacks Rollins, J&J. They attack Orton, but Noble is thrown out of the ring. Mercury gets thrown out of the ring. Noble eats an RKO, which, of course, allows Rollins to escape and live to fight another day, or live to run another day. Papo, now it's time to get into the award-winning greatest segment of all time. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the fugly. Bah, bah, bah. So, Papo, tell the people you're good, bad, and fugly. Or do you want me to go first?
I went first last time. Your turn.
All right. So the good, I'm going to say Neville versus Ziggler. That's my good. Now, the bad and the fugly was a little bit difficult because it was almost a tie. But after some careful deliberation, I've decided that the bad was the Bellas on commentary. Fucking PU, that shit was stanky. And the fugly, the tag champs losing to Randy Orton. That's my good, bad, and fugly. Papo, break it down.
Okay, I'm in agreement with you with the good. The Neville versus Dolph Ziggler, awesome match. My was I'm going to go ahead and say the Ryback-Harper match.
That's your
And
that's
then the
your bad.
Fugly, that's my bad.
Is it because they didn't have enough time?
Pretty much. And they could have done a lot more because these two guys can go, but they poo-pooed on it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hit me with the fugly.
The Fugly was Roman Reigns and Big Show. I am so tired of this feud. I am so done. I want to go over there and kick both their asses my damn self.
But Big Show's the greatest champion, the greatest giant of all time. He's no longer in Andre's shadow. Didn't
I
you
hope
hear him
Roman,
say that?
you know what? They just need to just go their separate ways. Stop this love fest that they got going, this bromance, if you will,
If you will.
and then start up a new feud.
But but Big Show won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, so he could stand like
I
this.
don't give a fuck.
But he can stand with his arms crossed now. He couldn't do that before, right?
Oh, how did you just did it?
Well, it's because I won a qualifying Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal here in Parts Unknown. It's a qualifier, which means at some point I'll have my WrestleMania moment.
Okay, so I can do this because I won my qualifying match in Suplex City.
Oh, shit. What's up with that? And ladies and gentlemen,
For real.
that's it. That's the end of our show. I wish I had more to talk about, but I got all these books to read, and I got new words to learn. So, again, like, comment, subscribe. Go to the Facebook page. At some point, I'll put it in the description box below. I haven't done it yet. Hey, go to patreon.com/TedandPapo. Give us a donation. Don't be a tight ass. And, Papo, you got anything else to say to these good people before we get the hell out of here?
Follow the links down below. Thank you for watching. Good night, everybody. Peace.
Time to load up the ship with the rocket fuel. We're out of here.